Hi there, I'm Woolly Wormhead and welcome to my channel. I'm having a bit of a stranded colourwork kick at the moment and I'm working on some new designs, new hat designs that have geometric, kind of like retro-inspired, repeatable patterns all the way around them. And I'm developing new tutorials to support those patterns as they come out. Now, one really, really useful technique is being able to do stranded colourwork with both hands. So that means two-handed stranded color work where you are holding one yarn in your left hand and one yarn in your right hand. It's a particularly useful way of managing the yarns without them getting tangled. And that means that you can do like fantastic things like this without having your yarn all get tangled up. Um, it took me a while actually to learn how to do this technique because when people taught me, they were showing me their way of doing it, and I found that I couldn't get on with it. And so for years, I would not do it until I found a way that worked for me. Now, I am naturally an English thrower. My mum taught me to knit when I was 3. That means I've been knitting for over 50 years, and I've been knitting the same way, which means that I'm a little bit stuck in my ways when it comes to knitting styles. But also as an English thrower, I'm an incredibly loose and messy knitter. If you've ever been to one of my workshops, I do apologise about this rather a lot. Well, so that meant that I had to find a way of tensioning the yarn in my left hand, which is the continentals part of this technique, that worked for me and that meant that I could keep an even tension throughout. So what I'll do is, as I'm showing you how to do this, I will tell you what I did to make my tension work for me. It's not necessarily going to work for everybody, but I'm hoping it gives you something to think about. As if that if you're finding this technique doesn't work for you, um, your tensioning might be one of the issues you need to look at, and I'm hoping it will give you some ideas where to start. So I'm going to show you how to do the two different types of knit stitches, one throwing and one picking, and then with any luck you will be well on your way to working stranded colour work with ease without tangling up all of your yarns. So I'm going to switch the overhead and show you now. Okay then, here I have a new stranded colourwork design that I am currently working on. It's not got a name yet, and if you're watching in the future, if it has got a name and I remember to come back and add the links, then hopefully the links will be in the blurb, but if they're not, forgive me, you'll find it somewhere on my website. So, two-handed stranded colourwork. This avoids all of that tangling up that you get when you are working with just one hand. What we do when we do this method is we use continental on one side and throwing on this side, the English style knitting on this side. Now, the way that I do it is I'll have yarn A, or the dominant yarn, on this finger, and I'll have yarn B on this side. Now, whenever people try to teach me how to do this, I always found it really difficult because I say I'm an English thrower and I'm a very loose and messy knitter. And the way that people showed me, I found it very difficult to get an even tension. It was either really loose or really tight, and it was frustrating. So what I do is, yes, the yarn does need to be wrapped around your index finger to be able to pick it. But what I do is I tend to wrap it and catch it underneath with the rest of my fingers, and that means that can control the way that the yarn is coming through, and that being able to hold it, and I'm also gripping the knitting here to make sure it doesn't go flying off the needles. That has worked for me. So I'm actually going to show you the knit stitches with this yarn first because I've got a knit 2 in green. No, sorry, I'm going to show you with this one first because I need to do 2 in brown, 2 in green, and 2 in brown. So to pick, you insert your needle into the stitch and you grab the yarn and you pull it through. That's it. Take it from across the top. Let me see. Yeah, that way. And then you've done it there. I'm now ready to knit 2 in green. So I'm just going to wrap them as I would do as an English style knitting. And I'm going to come back to this one. Now don't take it from underneath, okay? Otherwise your stitch will be orientated incorrectly. So I put my needle in, I'm going to go across the yarn and pick it and pull it through. Needle into the stitch, pick it and pull it through. And it's as simple as that. So I'm going to undo those and just show you once more. You get my yarn all set up. Okay, so there's going to be 2 brown, 2 green, 2 brown. This is a very pale minty green, so if it's looking slightly different color on your screen, it is green. But don't worry too much about it. It's the paler color of the two, it's yarn beam. So to pick, we put our needle in from the front to the back. We go over the top of the yarn here, grab it and pull it through and drop that stitch off the needle. Put it in, grab it, pull it through. For the ones that we need to knit English style, notice that I'm pulling my stitches down here. This helps stop my floats get too tight. We wrap. So we bring it up around behind and wrap. And then we're going to pick these two again, in, pick it, in, pick it, and there we go. It's pretty straightforward, really. Takes a bit of practice, but it's not difficult. You can do it. And I hope that's been helpful. You do not have to do two-handed stranded colour work if you find it difficult. It took me a lot of years to kind of get into the swing of doing it because I had to find my own way of doing it with the way that I hold my needles. I had problems with my neck and shoulders, with mobility and nerve issues. So I have to take great care in how I'm holding my needles. And so I think that is one of the reasons why I didn't instantly take to working with two-handed stranded colour work, because I was having to move this arm in a way that felt uncomfortable and grip with my hand, and a lot of it was hurting and painful. My tension wasn't right, but I did find my way eventually. I'm still slow with it, but that's all right. I'm actually getting neater results than I would do if I'm knitting all with the yarns held in my right hand, both of them, and then having to manually switch them over because, you know, that's a bit of a pain. And the worst thing about that is the fact that the yarn all gets tangled up. Whereas if you're taking care with this two-handed technique, your yarns don't get tangled as much. So give it a go. You're not doing it wrong if you don't do it at all, but it's worth giving it a go because it can help if you find a way that works for you. All right. Okay, if you can like, subscribe, etc., that'll be much appreciated. And I'll see you next time for another tutorial. Bye.